Hello, welcome to day 5 of my series for healing whiplash and increasing neck mobility. Today I'm working on the lovely Molly. Let's go ahead and get started. If you don't have time to watch this video right now, go ahead and save to your watch later and just watch whenever you get a chance. So at this point, we're on day 5 of our series. The upper trap should be a little more receptive to getting worked on. And I'm going to go ahead and just do a nice warm up. So whenever I am working on an area that's been through trauma, like whiplash, I like to just go in pretty slowly. And I'm using the heel of my hands and just working my way around these shoulder bones. Working my way into that upper trap, that middle trap, and just using some longer compressive holds to warm up. And just picking up on the level of inflammation and tightness from right to left. And you're going to be hearing me say in all of these videos, talking a lot about inflammation, which is just something that you need to be really aware of when you're working on someone with whiplash. And I'm going to go ahead and do a pincer grasp. So just grabbing hold of this muscle belly and just starting to introduce a little bit more pressure. I'm going with my thumbs this time. And just following the border of that scapula. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my oil. And if you, after your warm up, are like, there's way too much swelling in that upper trap, some options would be, I would go to a full back massage and just helping everything to calm down a little bit more. You could also work on the rotator cuff muscles, which can indirectly help that upper trap relax. But for today, I think we're on track. We're on day 5 and there's some swelling, but not too much. So we can go ahead and continue with our original plan. When I am doing upper trap work, I like to throw in just some longer effleurage strokes across the whole back, just because it gives the upper traps a break and it helps everything come into a greater balance. That's just how I like to work. There's no right or wrong way. I used to work with a therapist who was like so detail oriented and would only work just the upper traps for 50 minutes and it's felt amazing. We kind of all find our own way. But I do like starting with some nice flowy effleurage strokes And I'm going to start just walking my hands a little bit. So I'm just encouraging these upper traps to be in a less protective stance. And just bringing the heels of my hands down those erector spinae, back into the traps with my hands. It's really good if you can work this muscle tissue from different angles, just encouraging the upper traps to let go of that protective nature that they have, especially when something like whiplash is going on. And I'm in no hurry when I'm just starting to work on the upper traps after somebody's been in a car accident or whatever caused the whiplash. I just really like to take my time. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that there's some oil on my forearms, my elbows, and so one little trick that I use, because I tend to work pretty deep, sometimes it's harder for me to not go as deep. So I'll use a little bit more oil, and then you're kind of forced to glide over the area that you're working on a little more. You catch the muscle fiber a little less. So I want a nice sheen on the skin, kind of a medium sheen. Feels really good if you bring that effleurage stroke along that upper trap as it narrows into the neck. Really important to cover that whole upper trap if you can. And in between these techniques that I'm using for the upper trap, I like to land on the rhomboids because it feels good. It's a nice break. I'm not usually too concerned about the rhomboid muscles because I know they'll follow the upper trap's lead. I'm doing this more to just offer a little break. It feels really good. If you're really tall or the table's really low, you can bring this stroke all the way into those erector spinae, but I am not tall enough. We're working on a table that's very low. And anytime that you're trying a technique like that, make sure that you stay in a place that's comfortable in your own body. You don't want to be overextending. And I'm going to go ahead and just land on the middle and upper trap. And I'm using my whole forearm. So if there's a moderate amount, acute to a moderate amount of swelling, I can still work on this area, but you don't want to go too deep. So I'm just slow and steady, working my way around that shoulder bone. Maybe on day 6, day 7, we'll be ready to do a little bit more trigger point in here and maybe work our way under the scapula a little bit, but not today. I have a nice glide across Molly's skin, but I don't feel like I'm going to slip off, which is perfect. And I am just doing this right side today. I'd encourage you to do the left side as well if you're doing this at home. And I like to just throw in, some different techniques, keep things interesting, work that muscle fiber from different directions. I might do just the tiniest amount of trigger point with my thumb. And it's harder to do deep tissue with your thumb anyway. This is a great way to just do some detailed work, kind of force yourself to use less pressure, not overtax the thumb. And I usually circle, between those different techniques a few times when I'm working on the upper trap. And I am gonna land on this levator scapula. It's unlikely that I'm gonna do too much to help this levator scapula at this point because it rests under the trapezius. So it's gonna be harder to access if I can't offer a very firm touch. But I am gonna start to move in the direction of working on that levator. And just working on that upper trap from a new, fresh angle. If I wanted to do some more intense trigger point, I might step on the opposite side of the table and start to work in just before I get under that scapula or even underneath the scapula a little bit. But I want to keep it pretty gentle at this point still. And I'm going to go ahead and spend the rest of my time on the upper trap as it moves into the neck. I like to do some compressive circles. So it's a surefire way to just offer some relief to that upper trap, and it's a little less intimidating because you don't have to follow the line as intensely of that upper trap. And kind of relax a little bit more as you're working. And keep your hand really relaxed. Next session, I think we could do some trigger point in here, but Molly is not quite ready. And again, just keep your hand really relaxed. Keep your thumb firm but relaxed. I'm going to go ahead and do just some compressive strokes along the line of that upper trap. Working my way towards that hairline. I like to just end how I started. Nice, relaxed upper strokes for both sides. And that is all for today. Thank you for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you for day 5 of this series. If you enjoyed today's video, you should check out our Patreon page. I look forward to seeing you there.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.